Hey guys, we're going to do a quick little lesson on division with decimals. So I'm going to go through this very quick for you guys. This week you're going to have a few lessons on it. So let's go ahead and jump right in real quick, okay? So the first one that we have, if we get this problem, is if we have a problem, some numbers that have a decimal in the dividend, okay? So let's go with the example that I have for you. I got Let's zoom in just a little bit more. Let's go full screen on this big guy. Ooh, I don't know if I like that. Let's just go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Now we can see it a little bit better. Okay. Now we can see. Let's do. Okay, so I got 68 and 5/10, and we're going to divide that by 5. 68.5 is going to be our dividend, 5 is going to be our divisor, so we're going to find the quotient here. So if you ever forget anything on division steps, we got divide, multiply, subtract, and then we got bring down, and you remember the proper way to say it: dad, mother, sister, and your brother is dumb. Boom sauce. Okay, so remember the first steps right here. We got to figure out how many times 5 can go into all three of these numbers, doing one at a time right now. So let's go ahead. How many times can 5 go into 6? One time. So we did the divide part. Now we got to multiply. Remember, if you want to put that little X right there, 5 times 1 is 5. Next step is to subtract. I'm going to subtract right there. So I got 6, take away 5, we got 1. Brother is dumb now. Bring down. Let's go ahead. One number at a time though. Okay. One number at a time. Bring down the 8. Now we got to ask ourselves how many times 5 can go into 18. Doesn't go in there evenly, but we get as close to it as we can, as far as we want. So 5 goes into 18 3 times. Again, 5 times 3 now is 15. Going to subtract, solve that, bring down one number at a time. Notice how I just totally ignored the decimal. I'm just pretending right now it's 685 divided by 5. Okay, don't worry about that decimal till the very end. Okay, because this part doesn't have a decimal. This one does. I don't need to worry about that till the very end. So how many times 5 goes into 35? 7. Good job. Okay, put that 7 up there, solve out the problem. I know we're done, but we like to finish up, close up shop right there. Okay, and it's nice to know we don't have any remainders or anything. Okay, now, it's a decimal problem. I can't split $68 and let's say 50 cents divided by 5 and get $137. That doesn't make any sense. Remember, at the end now, decimal goes straight up. Okay, now this is only if your dividend has a decimal, but your divisor does not. What I'm going to show you right now is what happens when both numbers have a decimal number in it, or a decimal place in it. Okay, let's go ahead. The backside's not too bad. We'll do that. Okay, let's go with a new number of 3 64/100 divided by what I wrote down there. Okay. 1 4/10. Okay. Now, we haven't done this yet. Now, I hate division with decimals. Okay. So, I go ahead. I like getting rid of them. Okay. Your first step right here. I want to go ahead and make this 1 4/10 into a whole number. Okay. So, I look at it like this. If I multiply this 1 4/10 times 10, pretty much make a buck cheek, slide it over. That 1 4/10 now becomes a 14. Okay, I'm going to cross out that previous decimal. Now, remember what we were saying with fractions: what you do to the top, you do to the bottom. What you do to the bottom, you do to the top. Same thing goes with division. Okay, so if I move the divisor decimal place one side to the right, what do you think is going to happen in here? I also have to move that one place to the right, okay? Because if I multiply the divisor by 10, I also have to move I also have to multiply the dividend by 10, okay? So now my new problem is 36 4/10 divided by 14. That is okay, okay? Because we're checking out groups. All right, now let's go ahead and solve the problem here. Okay, so I want to figure out how many times 14 can go into 3. Not so much. How many times 14 can go into 36? That's a good part right there. Okay, so I know 14 go in there, and if you got any problems like that, you skip counting 14, 28, and then we 42. Okay, so out of my 3 ones that I just made, double digits always makes me feel weird, so I can always just make a quick little pattern or a list right there, very similar to what we did with our ratio tables. Okay, so I know 14 can go in there at least once, twice works, 3 times is too much because I'm just worrying about the 36 right now. So I'm just going to do 2 up here because this was times 2 right here, that section right there. Okay, so I already know my answer, got 28. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. I am going to subtract right now. Okay, notice again, just like the previous problem, I am ignoring that other decimal. Okay, so right now my new problem is 84 divided by 14. Okay, whoa, I think I noticed something here. If this was times 1 right there, this was the times 2 portion, this was the times 3, but if I'm just making a quick notice, I got 84 as my new problem, 42 was times 3, so I'm going to double that. I know the times 6 that doubled will be 84. So I know 14 will go into 84 6 times. Put my 6 up there. Go ahead and solve out the problem. 6 times 14 is 84. I'm going to solve that. Now, real quick on this portion, okay? I already know I move my decimal, okay? I don't move it back. Wherever it's at now, I am leaving it, okay? So I changed it to 36.4. That's where the new decimal place is now, okay? Just like what we did on the previous one. Slide that up. I got 2 6/10. So if I wrote this out in long expression way, I know 3.64 divided by 1 4/10 is equal to 2 6/10. Okay. All right, guys. Those are your 2 ways of dividing with decimals. One with 1 decimal place that we had just in the dividend, and the other one that we got with 1 in both, dividend and divisor. Okay. Things that we stayed the same. Decimal goes straight up once we get to the final answer. Okay. But remember, on this one, we didn't have to worry about a decimal. First step right here, make into a whole number. Second step, I should have gone through this. Okay, second step, also do the inside. Third step, solve the problem. And then fourth step, okay, slide that decimal up. Okay? All right, guys, that's it. Have a great week. This will be the last one for this week on portion, okay? See you guys.